loving them, you can order them and we'll send them right out to you. Just send me a Facebook message if you would like one. They're really nice if you live in a cold environment too, because you can pull them down to actually be functional and cover your ears. For those of you who don't live in Alaska, this is like normal attire for all the women here in Alaska. Like it's either a messy bun or a ponytail with one of these. This is like finishes it off. So if you want to be a little bit more Alaskan and also show that you're rocking it towards your goals, then you're for sure going to want one of these goal digger headbands. So I just want to give a huge shout out to all of you who are serving in your community. I know there's a lot going on in Colorado right now. And you know, your lives are kind of changing overnight. I just want to say this, that you know, part of I think the stress that we're all feeling and we have felt since COVID-19 started, and I had this awareness last week when I was doing a webinar and Dr. Michelle Schwinn was our guest. It hasn't been about because there's so much change in our lives and that we don't know what tomorrow brings. We've more so are distressed because our paradigms are getting challenged every day, multiple times a day. Our paradigms of, you know, should I stay or should I go now? Do I stay open? What, like, does the mandate really mean that I'm gonna like face fines and imprisonment and if I practice? Like, there's social pressure from other chiropractors to be closed, then yet I want to be open, or I want to be closed and yet I feel like I have to be open. And so I just want to encourage all of you to get grounded. And one of the easiest ways I know to be grounded is just stop, breathe, and simplify. Stop, breathe, and simplify. When you're feeling like out of control during the day or just going crazy, just stop, breathe, and simplify. And that's something one of the reasons that I asked Dr. Erin to join me today is Dr. Erin is the special needs specialist. She developed actually a whole program and second line of business on that topic. And I'm going to have her share with you why she did that. And then we're going to get into real actionable steps. Show your notes, Erin, of all of the tips that you've come up with.
They're rocking and rolling this morning.
of how we can best serve special needs families. And for those of you who are offended by that, I don't know what else to call it. I know it's because you have a member of your family who has special needs. And so I'm not intending to offend anyone, but rather just to call us all together to serve. Nat says, the girls say hello. Hey, girls. And keep crushing it. Thank you so much. So, Erin, why did you... Let's first start with, what is your hardest hitting tip? Like if there's only one thing that anyone does from this broadcast today, what is your hardest hitting tip? And then I want to go into, why did you become the special needs specialist?
Yeah, sure. So probably the biggest thing, and this is what I keep telling myself and my practice members, is you're not the only person that feels the way that you feel. And like, I don't know how many moms I've had in the office in the last 2 weeks that are just like, you say it and you see the tears like start to well up. And then I get all teary because I'm like, I know, I understand. It's like really hard and it's really tough. And here's my number. Whatever we need to do, we'll do it, you know? So it's been a total 180 because most of these kids, when they're in the school setting, you know, they have special classes, they have special therapies, they have, you know, extra things that they get outside of their regular classes. And then now it's like, school's done, good luck, you know. And it's like, well, what do I do? You know, how do we handle OT? How do we handle speech? How do we handle our dyslexia therapy? What do we do for all these extra things we were getting that mom and dad, odds are, probably don't know how to do? And I'll be honest, there are things that my daughter needs that I can't do either. So it's like, what do you do? How do you provide those options for them? So I think that's the biggest challenge. And then just realizing that you're not by yourself. Like, we all have certain levels of anxiety. And when you add in a kid that has special needs or that has extra requirements, it just ups that anxiety one more ring, you know?
So Erin,
yeah.
is the stress that moms and dads are feeling like, oh my gosh, my kid needs all of this stuff and I don't know how to do it? Or is this stress, I just now have so much responsibility and on top of the, like, they're working from home and now they're homeschooling their kids and all of this, like describe to us so that we can best step in and fill that gap and help moms and dads who are caring for their children with additional needs.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing I talked about last night. And on Monday nights, we do our Strategies for Healthy Living workshop as a Facebook Live. And it's the exact same thing I was talking about last night. Like, when you talk about physical stress and chemical stress and emotional stress, and you add it all together, and it looks different for everybody, but like physical stress, are you at home? Are you at work? Are you trying to figure out which one you're supposed to be, like you were talking about earlier? Chemical stress, I don't know about you, but like, my quarantine diet has like totally changed. Like, we're eating stuff we don't normally eat because it's what was available, because the grocery stores are not well stocked. So it's like, oh, now that's an issue. And I don't know about everybody else, but my coffee intake has gone through the roof because I'm just trying to get through the day, you know? And then the emotional stress, like you were saying, like, do you go to work? Do you not go to work? How do we homeschool? How do we get all this done and still maintain some level of, it's not even normal. It's like whatever normal is now, you know? So it's, when you add all that together, it's like, holy crap, people need chiropractic now more than they've ever needed chiropractic. And it's even more reason for you to be like spreading your message and making sure that people are aware that, yes, we are open, and yes, we do help you adapt to these constant changes and levels of stress that are happening in your life.
And so is now the time, so what about not only like the special needs families that we're caring for in our practice, but what about just like in general? There are families that aren't coming into our practice that still need our help, so that when we reach out, whether it's let's say you go to church with families who have children with special needs and they're not practice members, but you want to just reach out and help. Like Ben and I have talked about like stepping in and helping care for children. Like, I don't have any experience with that, but like if it would give mom a chance to take a shower and
Exactly.
or like one of the big concerns are that they're talking about here in Alaska are the first responders that are all still working and working even more hours.
Right.
What about their kids?
Exactly.
Right. So now their kids are going to daycare because that's what's always happened.
Option. Yeah.
But how do you keep them healthy? How do you keep, so how, in a practical sense, do we reach out? So reach out to our practice members who have special needs kids. And what are some tips besides, in addition to encouraging them to get checked and adjusted more often because of the stress? So make sure that you lay out too, like, this is a critical need, like this is essential. What are tips to give them for being at home?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so watch your nutrition intake. Like what are you doing to just create that environment at home that doesn't reflect all of the stress outside?
Yeah. So we live in town, which is probably not the best solution, but you have to do what you have to do. So we've gone through a couple boxes of sidewalk chalk. We've gone through bubbles like there's nobody's business. This morning one of them has already done a puzzle this morning. Last Saturday, well, a week and a half ago, My husband, we have an 8-man tent. They begged and pleaded, like, Daddy, please put the tent up. So we now have an 8-man tent under our carport. We've had to move our cars out, but they've enjoyed it because there's a blow up mattresses in there. And, now it's like, can we go outside to the tent? Absolutely. Take your Uno cards and go play, or take your book and go read. Or, we had a big nasty storm blow through last night before last. So let's go outside and get the limbs up. Let's make sure that the limbs are out of the neighbor's yard because they're older than us. So it's trying to engage them outside for us because the walls start to close in after a little while. So it's like, how can we get outside and do things? Let's go ride our bike. Let's go walk the dog. My best friend has a child that has cerebral palsy, and she's in a wheelchair. And we had this discussion yesterday. She's like, I really want to take Nat out for a bike ride. And I'm like, you know what? Bundle her up. It's not cold, but it's not hot either because she can't regulate her own body temperature. So we're always worried about, getting her too hot or getting her too cold. And I said, look, bundle her up, give me a buzz, and we'll all go because she loves my husband. She thinks he's great. And I do too. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, just call me, Steph, and we'll go ride. Bundle everybody up and let's go because that's what she loves to do. So other things like balloons. Last Sunday was Easter. So on Good Friday, or I think it was Thursday, Friday. My days are totally off kilter.
Yeah.
We blew up water balloons with air and we hid them through the yard. And we had an Easter egg hunt with water balloons.
Oh, nice.
You just start to think of like, engage your kids. And that wasn't our idea. The kids came up with it. And we're like, this is hokey. But it killed an hour and a half and they had a ball. And, so it's engaging them in different ideas of how we can take things we would normally do with other people and let's create it and modify it so that it works for us. And let's do it outside because you need the vitamin D, you need the fresh air, you need to engage with your body physically. Let's do as much of that in one activity as we can.
I love that. So I quickly wrote down sidewalk chalk, bubbles, a tent, games, bike rides, like maybe even organize a parade in the neighborhood. Undoubtedly, if you live in a subdivision, there is a family that has a special needs child. And so organizing a parade where, hey, let's all at, 5:00 tonight, get your strollers, get your bikes, and let's walk around the neighborhood and whatnot. Balloons, a water balloon fight. You could even organize a water balloon fight where you're in your own yard and you're launching water balloons into somebody else's yard, right? And
somebody's going to have a catapult or a slingshot or something.
Oh my goodness, my husband would figure out something with a motor for sure. I was even
Can I come for
that? If it's a competition, the Eatons are going to try and win. That's for sure. I was even thinking of a book exchange that, leave your books that your family aren't reading right now. I don't know, like where COVID, like outside in a big plastic bag.
Yeah. We have those at our local parks. We have little red boxes. And
okay.
You can put your books in there. And they're all like, there's one person that's in charge of each park and they go and sanitize everything for COVID stuff. But yeah, you can put in your books and like, if you wanted to leave a special note, like we really love this book because of this or whatever. And then sign your name. So yeah, absolutely.
So that book exchange, all of you could happen in your office.
Yep.
And then that way it would be, like have something outside every day that says, leave your books here for an exchange. Or social media, it could be like, go live or post a picture of you and your family leaving your book and why you love that book. And we'll compile all of it. So it's easy for families to determine which book is going to be best for them. So our community book exchange, it could happen at your office. I was even thinking of, I know it's been really popular to like start a tab at a coffee shop.
Yeah, we did that here.
Yeah, what if you took that $200 and created even like little packages that had, a couple pieces of sidewalk chalk, homemade bubbles, and some balloons, and invited families like, come take a COVID break, get this from our practice. And then when they came in, take a picture with them or do a Facebook Live or just give for the sake of giving. And that also supports, you can get them at the local grocery store. I think you can get probably all of those things in those grocery stores, especially a privately owned grocery store, even though they're getting lots of business because we've all been buying so much toilet paper. It still is a great thing to support them. So I think the key thing here is just like with all the rest of it, let them know they're not alone.
Exactly.
Find out specifically what about even doing a Facebook Live on a set time every evening? Like I think of like the witching hour when you have an infant. Like there is definitely a time in the evening, and I don't know if it's because as parents we're so exhausted and they're picking up on that, or if like there's a legitimate code that comes with a newborn, that is the witching hour. But if there's a specific time that is most common for families to kind of fall apart in the evening, if that could be the time that you go live with, whether it's story hour or, hey, tonight, let's all get together and make Play-Doh, or like, what would be some of those activities that a doc watching this who doesn't have a special needs child but wants to serve that community, what's something that they could make or do on Facebook Live that would really help a mom or a dad, or moms and dads who are, it's at that witching hour, and they could just like count on that all day long for, oh my gosh, Dr. Erin's going live at 6 kids, like we can make it. And then just kind of plan to do that. Like what are things that docs could be doing?
Okay, so like for us, what I would think of is like if there's a simple craft, like I shared something the other day. It was like 10 or 15 like little animals that you can make, and it's all like you don't have to have a lot of craft supplies. It's like basic construction paper and glue and maybe tape. It's like super easy. So you can take one of those every day, or you could show them how to make, like our girls went through this whole slime phase. So like you could show them how to make slime, or show them how to make bubbles, or any of that kind of stuff, like crafty kind of things. A lot of like our local art place, which is where my kids take piano lessons, they're doing their piano lessons live on Zoom. You could do paintings on Zoom if you wanted to. Now, not everybody's going to have paint supplies, so you may have to adapt it a little bit. So anything that you could think of that a kid would like to do, turn it around and do a Zoom video or a Facebook Live on it, and engage your own kids. Like for March, for our kids event, everybody got a little cup, like a disposable cup, which you can do that from egg cartons. Take your paper egg cartons and cut it up, and then you've got 12 planters right there, potting soil, and they got a seed for a flower. And even like my teenage practice members were like, can I get a plant to take home? Like,
right.
Yes, you can get a plant. So even that kind of stuff like becomes things that you could do, or even for your community where you're like, we've got all these seed starters. Come by and pick up, whatever plant you want, like cucumbers or tomatoes or whatever it is that you want. And because that's agriculture, it's considered essential. So you're keeping those businesses open as well. So
nice. I love that.
Do to involve other people, it's going to be a plus for you for sure.
So here's my thought on the plant with egg cartons is, with all of this, create a meme for posting on social media that maybe says like, Dr. Erin's recipe to make your own bubbles. And so you give the step 1, 2, 3, 4, put your name on it, use your font, use your colors. Yeah. Use Canva. And you can start sharing that around. And then when you share it, let them know, like, we're going to go live making our own bubbles on Tuesday. What's today? April the
whatever day
14th or 15th, April 15th.
No, 14th. Today's
April 14th at 6 p.m. We're going to be making our bubbles. So grab this recipe and join us. Right. Then with the plant with the egg carton, like I'm always looking at how how I can like make strategic partners out of this, right? So then I would then make a flyer about what to do with your egg cartons, give it to the local grocery stores, ask them if they would be willing to put it with the egg cartons so that families have another way of doing something and, you know, like beat COVID. And you know what? Some are going to say no, and some are going to be like, oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And then provide, you know, like go in when you ask them and show them what the flyer looks like of things that they can do with egg cartons. Make sure it also gives them directions of like where to get their dirt. And then you can, when you present this to whether it's the place to buy the dirt or the grocery store, you can see how, you know, like show them how we're cross promoting and I'm bringing other, you know, like businesses in our community together. Like people are going to buy their eggs from you and see the egg carton. People are going to buy their dirt from you and see this is where to buy the dirt and this is where to buy your seeds. And so now you've got 3 strategic partners who are promoting your name, all because you're wanting to serve and bring people together. The same thing with the sidewalk chalk, like wherever you're going to buy that from, ask them, hey, would you be willing where this sidewalk? You can't hear me? You can't hear me? You still can't hear me? Anyone who's watching, can you guys hear me? I want to determine if it's my end or if it is Erin's end. Can you please type on here if you hear me? Anyone? Oh, Eduardo
Okay.
says
I just can't.
You can hear me now?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. All right. So, thank you, Eduardo. So, Erin. Okay, hold on just 1 second. We'll get this bit.
Okay, I got it. Hey.
Oh, so Eduardo said he can hear both of us. So
But we just can't hear each other.
No, I can totally hear you.
Oh, I just
You're
can't
the only
hear you.
one. You can't hear me, but everyone else hears both of us.
Okay, this is gonna be fun.
So I would like try this, plug in
Okay.
earphones. Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, so in the meantime, I'm just going to share with all of you like some other things that you could do, and with all of it, please recognize you're serving individuals, and it's totally fine to use this for promotion as well, because let's face it, if more individuals come into your practice and under regular chiropractic care, are you making a greater impact in your community? Yes, like healthier families. Are you kidding me? Healthier children, healthier adults. Yes, it's only a win. So if you struggle with, well, I just don't want to be promoting all of the time. Well, think about what are you promoting? You're promoting individuals tapping into their innate intelligence and being healthy. I just can't see a downside to that. It's only an upside. So, at any rate, like the takeaways then for this, decide which activity. Do you want to do the egg cartons and plant seeds? If that's the case, then please make a flyer, like show it yourself what you're doing, like go and do all of this and then have pictures of you and your kids taking an egg carton, you know, cutting it up, putting dirt in it, planting seeds. Make a flyer that says, hey, this is a great time of year in order to, or beat COVID, right? Like here's another way. If you guys saw on my Facebook page the other day, I had beating COVID one trail at a time. And it was a picture of all of us riding. Well, there's an example. So yours would be like beat COVID one plant at a time. And it shows you planting in egg cartons, right? So then you would choose the grocery store that you have the greatest relationship with. Go to the manager and just say, hey, I'm asking if we can come together in a better way to help the families in our community. And here's what it is. I've printed, I'll give you flyers like this, and you can just tuck them in or hang them up at where you have your eggs. And then that way, when families are buying eggs, it gives them something positive that they can do in addition to eating eggs. And so you get to look like the hero that you gave them this idea, and you don't have to come up with it. It's already done. And they're either going to say yes or no. If they say no, just say, okay, thanks. Then go home or go back to your office, change the flyer, put the next grocery store's name on it, go to them and ask them. Someone is going to say yes, I promise you. And it could even be a local farmer. Like, we get our eggs from a local farmer down the road here. I know 100% she would love to do that. So be creative, and your first no just means ask again. It doesn't mean never. It just means ask again. Then as soon as you have a yes on the grocery store or the egg distributor, then next go to where are you going to get your dirt from? You're going to have to buy it from somewhere for yourself. And so now you're going to go to them again, show them a flyer, tell them what's going on, ask them if they want to be a hero in your community by helping families beat the coronavirus. And if they're going to say yes. And so now you give them flyers. Like, seriously, it doesn't get easier. And then if it were me, I would get them printed online, because you can get overnightprints.com. It's super cheap, and then colored prints. And I would ask them for a discount if you mentioned them on the flyers. Like, what's the worst thing they could say? No. Okay. Then go to the next company and ask for a discount on colored printing by giving them a mention on your flyer. Then take the flyer, and now you're going to use it for your social media posts. So you can do that with each one of these things. And a little bit of advanced planning goes a long way. So I would encourage you to take these ideas, the sidewalk chalk, make your own bubbles, make your own Play-Doh, the bike ride, the parade in your neighborhood, the water balloon fight, having balloons, book exchange. Like, take a calendar, just like print a blank calendar. You just go printable calendars, search it on Google, and you'll see there a whole bunch of options that come off. Print up a calendar, decide what you want your way to serve your community that week, write it down on there, and go through and map out like the next 4 weeks. Do you follow me? Then when you map out the next 4 weeks, then the start like 7 days before, mark on it, promote water balloon fight. So now you're just going to give like, here are the rules. So you're going to put the rules up, then share it around your community. Like, we drove around a neighborhood yesterday, a huge neighborhood in Eagle River. It has these beautiful trails throughout it, and lots of families live there. They have their own Facebook page. The Eaglewood community has their own Facebook page. So guess what? The big subdivisions in your neighborhood, in your town, have their own Facebook page. So that's also where you would promote this, like promote the parade or promote it in the subdivision that you live in. And here's how we're going to do our water balloon fight, or here's how we're going to do our parade. And, I'll give you guys a model that you could follow for this. So in Alaska, we have trick-or-treating in September, and it was started by a little boy. His neighbors started it years and years ago. He had cancer, and they didn't expect him to live and make it until October. And so a bunch of their family, friends, and neighborhood got together and had trick-or-treating in September so that he could participate in trick-or-treating, given that his prognosis wasn't to make it until October. Well, it was so well received. They did it year after year. Like, now, no kidding, they shut down complete neighborhoods, bring in like a DJ, have music playing, have food carts, have all kinds of stuff going on. Like, this could be something that just takes off and repeats every year, or maybe it's every month. I mean, why not? Stranger things have happened. And so How you can find out about it is I'm pretty sure if you're in Alaska and pop in the comment section, what's the name of it? I think it's called Trick or Treating or Beat the Heat, Trick or Treating or something. And it's huge. Like it's probably the biggest thing that happens in our town every year is the trick or treating. And it also makes it really nice because obviously the end of October here in Alaska is hit or miss for weather big time. And so more families participate in the September one than participate at Halloween because you're more likely to have good weather for your little ones who are dressed up and running around town. So, Erin, can you hear me now? I think she still can't hear me. Um, oh, you know what is happening? She's on a major delay. So now we can't hear her at all. So I'll tell you, can't hear you at all. Um, I'll tell you what we'll do is Erin will pop in the comment section and we'll give her remaining list of things to do. If this has been helpful to you and you want to amplify helping families throughout our world beat COVID and have fun doing so, and you want to help promote chiropractic from sea to shining sea, will you please just share this so that other chiropractors and even other just like community minded individuals can do this. If you're a chiropractor, I would definitely make the base for all of this be my practice name. And all of these things can be linked back to your practice. A parade, you could even have a parade in your parking lot and invite people to come and have a parade from there. Some of you heard me say the other day, we had a baptism for our church, and obviously we're all doing social distancing, and so the church staff took a big like horse trough into this family's front yard, filled it up with not too much water, and the little girl wanted her daddy to baptize her, so our pastor stood on the outside of the water and walked them through it, and then we were all lined up on the streets in our cars or outside of our cars. And when she came up out of the water, we all beeped our horns and cheered, and we just got really creative. So if we can pull that off for a child's baptism, I can only imagine what you can all come up with. So come back and to this post and share what you're doing. Share pictures with us, and let's all just really encourage one another of how we can meet the needs of each one another. And really and truly, we are in this game called life, and we're in it to win it together. So when we get off here, I'm going to comment below with these ideas. If you have ideas that you're doing in your practice, would you comment below and let's all just do this together? It's way more fun to win in community than just by ourselves. So Erin, thank you so much. For those of you who are in the boot camp, I invite you to check out week 19. It's full of great information and great tips that you can apply right now to build up your presence in your community as a special needs specialist yourself. So God bless you all. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.